Hollywood, a land of dreams, often becomes a stage for real-life dramas, some more sinister than any screenwriter could conjure. The bright lights and red carpets can't always conceal the darkness lurking beneath the surface, a darkness that sometimes explodes into the public eye with devastating consequences. Recently, the entertainment world was rocked by allegations of a brutal attack by a rising star against his equally famous girlfriend, shattering the carefully crafted facade and exposing the ugly reality of domestic violence. The news spread like wildfire, shocking fans and colleagues alike. How could someone so charismatic, so seemingly charming, be capable of such violence? It's a question that haunts us, a reminder that the line between image and reality can be razor thin, especially in the world of celebrity. But this isn't just another Hollywood scandal. It's a stark reminder that domestic violence can touch any life, regardless of fame, fortune, or social standing. This incident, while shocking, is sadly not an isolated one. Domestic violence is a pervasive issue, affecting millions of people across the globe, often hidden behind closed doors and veiled in secrecy and shame. The glamorous veneer of Hollywood might make this particular case stand out, but it's crucial to remember that countless individuals suffer in silence, their stories unheard, and their pain unseen. This essay aims to delve beyond the sensational headlines, to understand the complex factors that contribute to domestic violence, the psychological impact on both victims and perpetrators, and the role of the media in shaping public perception. By shedding light on this important issue, we hope to contribute to a broader conversation about accountability, prevention, and support for those affected by this devastating form of abuse. The couple in question, let's call them Jake and Sarah to protect their identities, seemed to have it all. They were young, beautiful, and successful, their careers on an upward trajectory. Their romance was the stuff of magazine covers, full of glamorous dates, lavish gifts, and declarations of love splashed across social media. They were the envy of many, the epitome of a Hollywood power couple. Their relationship, however, wasn't always a fairy tale. Whispers of trouble in paradise began to surface. There were rumors of Jake's controlling behavior, his possessiveness, and his explosive temper. Sarah, once bubbly and outgoing, seemed withdrawn, her light dimmed. Friends noticed the changes, the subtle signs that something was amiss. Jake's jealousy intensified, fueled by his own insecurities and the pressures of fame. He would lash out at Sarah, accusing her of infidelity, monitoring her every move, and isolating her from her support system. The cycle of abuse, a toxic dance of power and control, had begun, escalating from verbal abuse to threats and intimidation. The warning signs were there, often overlooked or dismissed as the pressures of their high-profile lives. But behind the smiles and the carefully curated public image, a storm was brewing, a dangerous mix of possessiveness, control, and violence waiting to erupt. And erupt it did, shattering the illusion and revealing the dark underbelly of their seemingly perfect romance. Domestic violence thrives in secrecy, often hidden from the public eye, cloaked in shame and fear. Abusers are often skilled manipulators, able to charm and deceive those around them while maintaining a grip of control over their victims. They use a combination of emotional abuse, intimidation, isolation, and physical violence to maintain power and dominance within the relationship. Victims of domestic violence often feel trapped, silenced by fear, manipulation, or a misplaced sense of loyalty to their abusers. They may blame themselves for the abuse, internalizing the perpetrator's words and believing they are somehow deserving of the treatment. The cycle of abuse becomes a vicious circle, with periods of relative calm punctuated by escalating violence, followed by apologies and promises that are rarely kept. The reasons why victims stay in abusive relationships are complex and varied. Fear for their safety or the safety of their children, financial dependence, social isolation, and the stigma associated with domestic violence can all contribute to a sense of hopelessness and entrapment. It's crucial to remember that leaving an abusive relationship is often a process, not a single event, and victims need support, resources, and understanding to break free from the cycle of violence. The case of Jake and Sarah, though played out on a public stage, serves as a reminder that domestic violence can happen anywhere, to anyone. It's a stark reminder that behind the closed doors of seemingly perfect lives, a dark and dangerous reality can exist, one where love is twisted into a weapon of control and abuse. The details of the attack on Sarah remain shrouded in legal proceedings, but the allegations are chilling. What started as an argument escalated into a brutal physical assault, leaving Sarah with severe injuries, both physical and emotional. The violence that had long simmered beneath the surface finally erupted, shattering the carefully crafted facade of their relationship and exposing the dark truth to the world. The police were called, photographs were taken, and Sarah, battered and bruised, was rushed to the hospital. News of the incident spread quickly, fueled by social media and the insatiable appetite for celebrity gossip. The public was shocked, outraged, and divided. Some expressed disbelief, clinging to the image of Jake as a charming and charismatic star. Others were quick to condemn him, demanding justice for Sarah. The legal ramifications were swift. Charges were filed, restraining orders were issued, and Jake's career came to a screeching halt. The court of public opinion was equally swift, with sponsors dropping him, projects being shelved, and his reputation tarnished, perhaps irrevocably. The incident served as a stark reminder that no one, not even a beloved celebrity, is above the law. This case, however, extends far beyond the realm of celebrity gossip and legal proceedings. It shines a light on the pervasive issue of domestic violence, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that abuse can happen anywhere, to anyone, regardless of their social standing, wealth, or fame. It's a wake-up call, urging us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the warning signs, and to speak out against this insidious form of abuse. Sadly, Jake and Sarah's story is not an isolated incident in the annals of Hollywood history. The entertainment industry, with its intense pressures, demanding schedules, and culture of entitlement, has often provided a fertile breeding ground for abusive relationships. Behind the glitz and glamour, a dark side lurks, one where power imbalances, substance abuse, and unchecked egos can create a toxic cocktail for domestic violence. Over the years, numerous high-profile cases have rocked Hollywood, exposing the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry. From the shocking murder of actress Dominique Dunne by her abusive ex-boyfriend to the harrowing accounts of abuse shared by Tina Turner and Rihanna, the stories are tragically familiar, a grim reminder that fame and fortune offer no protection from domestic violence. These cases, though often sensationalized by the media, serve as stark reminders that domestic violence transcends socioeconomic boundaries, affecting people from all walks of life. They highlight the systemic nature of this issue, the ways in which power imbalances, societal norms, and cultural attitudes contribute to a culture of silence and complicity. It's important to remember that behind the headlines and the celebrity gossip, real lives are shattered, real pain is inflicted, and real consequences are faced. These cases should serve as a wake-up call, urging us to address the root causes of domestic violence, to provide support for victims, and to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. Understanding the psychology of both the abuser and the abused is crucial to addressing the complex issue of domestic violence. Abusers often exhibit a pattern of controlling behavior, fueled by a need for power and dominance over their partners. They may suffer from low self-esteem, insecurity, or deep-seated anger issues which they project onto their victims. Domestic violence is not about love, it's about control. Abusers use a variety of tactics to manipulate and control their victims, including emotional abuse, isolation, intimidation, economic control, and physical violence. They often cycle through periods of charm and affection, followed by escalating abuse and remorse, trapping their victims in a web of fear and dependence. Victims of domestic violence, on the other hand, often experience a range of emotional and psychological trauma. They may suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and a sense of helplessness. The abuse they endure can have long-lasting effects on their mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. It's important to remember that there is no single profile of a domestic violence victim or abuser. Domestic violence affects people of all ages, genders, sexual orientations, races, religions, and socioeconomic backgrounds. The common thread is the pattern of abuse, the cycle of power and control that defines these toxic relationships. The aftermath of domestic violence can be a long and arduous journey for victims. Physical injuries may heal, but the emotional scars can run deep, impacting their sense of self-worth, their ability to trust, and their capacity for intimacy. The road to recovery is often fraught with challenges, setbacks, and ongoing emotional turmoil. Support systems are crucial for victims of domestic violence as they navigate the healing process. Loved ones, friends, support groups, and therapists can provide a lifeline, offering a safe space to share their experiences, process their trauma, and begin to rebuild their lives. Therapy can be particularly beneficial, helping victims to understand the dynamics of abuse, address the emotional fallout, develop coping mechanisms, and regain a sense of agency and self-worth. It can also provide a safe space to explore the root causes of their experiences and to break free from patterns of unhealthy relationships. The journey to healing is not linear, and there will be good days and bad days. It's important for victims to be patient with themselves, to allow themselves time to heal, and to celebrate their strength and resilience in overcoming such a traumatic experience. With support, compassion, and access to resources, victims can and do rebuild their lives, emerging stronger and more empowered on the other side of abuse. The media plays a powerful role in shaping public perception of domestic violence. When high-profile cases like Jake and Sarah's emerge, the media has a responsibility to report on these issues responsibly, sensitively, and accurately, avoiding sensationalism while providing context and depth to the conversation. Too often, media coverage of domestic violence focuses on the salacious details of the abuse, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and minimizing the complex realities faced by both victims and abusers. Headings that scream love triangle or crime of passion trivialize the severity of the abuse and distract from the systemic issues at play. The media has a crucial role to play in educating the public about the dynamics of domestic violence, the warning signs, and the resources available to victims. By providing accurate information, challenging myths and stereotypes, and giving a voice to survivors, the media can help to shift societal attitudes and create a climate of support and understanding. Responsible reporting should focus on the facts of the case, the legal proceedings, and the impact of the abuse on the victim. It should also highlight the systemic issues that contribute to domestic violence, such as power imbalances, gender inequality, and cultural norms that condone violence against women. Addressing the pervasive issue of domestic violence requires a multifaceted approach that encompasses prevention, intervention, support for victims, and accountability for perpetrators. It requires a societal shift, a collective commitment to challenging harmful attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that perpetuate a culture of violence. Education is key. We need to teach young people about healthy relationships, consent, and the dynamics of abuse. We need to empower them to recognize the warning signs, to speak out against violence, and to seek help if they or someone they know is experiencing abuse. We need to improve access to support services for victims of domestic violence, including safe housing, counseling, legal aid, and financial assistance. These resources can be life-saving, providing victims with the support they need to escape abusive relationships and rebuild their lives. We must also hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. This means ensuring that law enforcement agencies are trained to respond effectively to domestic violence calls, that prosecutors take these cases seriously, and that judges issue appropriate sentences that reflect the severity of the crime. Breaking the cycle of domestic violence requires a collective effort, a commitment from individuals, communities, and institutions to create a world where violence is not tolerated and where all individuals feel safe, respected, and empowered. It's time to speak out, to challenge harmful attitudes, and to create a future free from violence.